Audio sync. This is going to be nasty. Hey Barry West, welcome. Looks like you're number one. Alright, see if this thing's quite badly damaged. I'm just not sure who's the winner and loser in this. By the looks of it, it's a display assembly, which is actually not good for me. It's not good for me because rebuilding display side bezel assemblies is quite difficult. They're inherently thin, which means you can't get a good purchase with the JB World or anything else. Yeah, you're sort of better off in many ways simply buying another bezel assembly than trying to rescue these ones. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what sort of damage we're looking at and what our options are. Interesting, those ones came out, but the other ones did not. Not sure whether these ones will come out or whether they're, maybe they're just being held in by the fact that the chassis is twisted up. So obviously the first thing we're going to do is essentially strip down the whole machine, take that panel out, all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to try and unfurl the screen at this point. Just trying to first see if I can even get this thing apart. It's a nice looking machine. It's just suffered a real tragedy here. Sinclair research. I'm gonna make sure I slip with the spudger and slash my arm open. Okay, what's the dealio with this? Okay. Looks like I might have to... Damn it. Hidden screw, I think. Well, it's certainly something. Might not be a screw, might actually be a casting indent. I might have to actually unfurl this. I really don't want to because the damage it's going to probably cause. Let's try to apply pressure to... Hey B-Blood, hey Jim. Nothing that hot glue can't fix. It sounds like someone from the Church of Soren. In most cases, these more higher end type machines tend to be a little bit easier to get open. They're designed a little better. But I'm not quite convinced of that yet. Okay, we do have separation, stage separation. Just stick it, okay, lots of shredded pieces, shredded tweet. What doesn't help is that you do wonder at times whether... I'm just trying to spy where that possible screw is. No, it's definitely not there. James Ewing. Sometimes you gotta unscrew these a little more. And sometimes you have that last 1/8 of a turn on the thread holds on for dear life. Definitely feels like it's latched in there somehow. I can see a couple of plastic latches, but that's about it. Oh god, I hate that sound. Hey Ron Rogers, Andre, DJ. Sure there's something obvious I'm missing around here. Alright, yeah. What it was is these corners here and here, because the hinge is all kind of offset in a strange way, it was stopping it from releasing. Alright, let's get this battery disconnected. It's kind of a weird way they've cabled this up. We'll just take it out. Crowbar would have done it much quicker. It certainly would, I do agree. Well, that actually came out comparatively painlessly, so that's good. You're running a hard drive? No, you must have... You got one of those horrible Oh, I hate these SSDs. These little SSDs that basically are the size of a Wi-Fi card, do not trust them one bit. They seem to have a notorious ability to just die. They just seem to be glorified SD cards. They're not, I know, don't berate me on that, but it just feels that way. Yeah, you got all this data riding on this extremely high density drive, and I don't like it. Okay. Okay. Take the fan out. The reason what I'm doing here is trying to route out this cable because it's a Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi antenna goes into the screen. We need to be able to take it off. This fan is just in the way. Oh, thankfully it wasn't too bad there. Okay, so it nests between the rubber on top. Okay, that's interesting. Should be able to get that out. We've got a free spinning brass insert down here. It's going to be a pain in my backside. I guess I was asking for too much, wasn't I? Okay, let's get this screen cable disconnected. Come on. I hate these type of connectors for some reason. We rarely agree on things, these screen connectors and I. Nope, the old push down method isn't working either. Okay, so that one's free because it's free and broken. It's also sheared quite completely out of, it's just sheared off everywhere. This one here, I'm gonna have to try and lever it up without snapping anything. Then bring it back down. That's it, bring it back down. Damn it. Gecko thinks it's amusing. Of course the gecko thinks it's amusing. Okay, I'll see if I can get a pair of pliers under there. This blue plastic is already... No, you can't see that, but that basically, that there is the retainer plastic around the brass insert. It's not doing its job anymore. I might just be able to get the pliers in there. I could try the side cutters if I want to, but yeah, that's a little more aggressive than I initially like. I'll start with the slightly less aggressive options. Okay, that's good. Something fill out. Right, I got no idea what fell out then. Okay, main chassis away. Alright, so now we've got to essentially disassemble this. And then we finally get to see what the real damage is. So I mean, okay, we've damaged the retainer for this part of the hinge onto the main chassis, but it's really, the problem is in the display itself here. So let's see how lucky or unlucky we're going to be with this display. Some of them like to be lifted from the inside, and some of them like to be lifted from the outside. And you really just can't tell until you try. This has got glue on it, so this will be a 30-pin slimline probably. So I get my fingernails under there and not kill myself. Ow. Okay. Tricky little blighters. Obviously you don't want to mess up those little hooks that they have to... Okay, so what are you guys? No one knows. I know some people just use the metal, the metal separators we use for fans and stuff, but I'm not really game enough to do that on a display. With a lot of the HPs and things like that, you just run your fingers along the inside, flick it out, it's all good. This one's not playing that game today. And like I said, yeah, I don't want to mess up too many things. Only one or two. There we go. And what is it with the corners? They're always extra difficult. Hey, RTC. It's twice today I've seen you. Honestly, anyone would think there's a screw under there. There's not. And we actually do have a screen break here. And that's not from me. I can see it runs the entire span here. So the screen is actually trucked, probably. As always, after you've done the first couple, it gets much easier. Like, you know, if I did a few of these a week, then I wouldn't be struggling like I am now. And that's pretty much why a lot of us do avoid the PC market. Because it's just really tricky trying to keep up with everything. I know it's not an excuse, but it is. Okay, a bit of tape retraction there. I still don't know what's going on with this corner. Hope I stop dropping my razor. Oh, I'm just taking it over the edge of the bench here. I'm sorry, you can't see it for the moment. Finally. It took way too long. Alright, yeah, that's a really big problem. It's very difficult. You've only got about 1.5 millimeters, maybe 2 millimeters to work with in here. And we would have to find replacement inserts, brass inserts, because these ones have all been torn out and tossed asunder along with the screws, it seems. So yeah, I would say realistically probably best, you know, just new screen, new back bezel. I mean, it could be done, but gee, you'd want to JB weld the living daylights out of it. Let's just see what screen this is. Hopefully it's nothing like a 2K screen or yeah, something with higher resolutions, etc. Looks like they're using pull strips. Now I can see why it's cracked along there. There's an impact point here. So what's probably happened is it took a lot of pressure and then ran up. Seems to be the thing these days to use pull strips to hold everything, from speakers to batteries to screens. On the one hand, it's quite convenient. On the other hand, it's a pain when things go wrong. And this is a BOE 156FHM3D. Yeah, okay, so this is a slim. I might have one of these in hand. There are a couple of slim ones where they're actually a smidge narrower than standard. We'll see. I'll go check the one I have and see if it's any good. Oh, crikey. 14-inch, 14-inch, 40-pin, thick MacBook glass, 13-inch. What the hell? Alright. So much for that. Empty box. The old empty stock box trick. Alright, well, looks like we're out of luck. I genuinely thought I did have one of these replacement screens, but it seems like I do not for some reason. I'm not sure why, because typically whenever I replace one, I buy another stock. Expect 43, Christmas Day, Perth. Oh, that's going to suck. That's going to be very unpleasant. And I have a feeling this MV156VH FHM M3D is going to be a full HD screen and not a 1366 cheap out screen. Let's have a look. New window. So MV156 FHM. Slightly expensive. And yeah, full HD IPS, quite expensive, and we're gonna need the new back bezel. Dell, what was it? G3 replacement display. Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look the same to me. There's a slight difference in that one. And when this is the other thing, with PC laptops, yeah, it's definitely massively different. With PC laptops, okay, this looks like our chap, maybe? Oh great, AliExpress, yay! But yeah, this is the one we want. We want blue. It doesn't have a colour on it. Yeah, it's just blue hint. Okay. Alright, well at least I can get the part, so that's good. Looks like they got the underside too. LCD back cover for Dell, blah blah blah. Yep. Okay, I'll just have to order these parts and we'll be done. Okay. Look for the part number on the lid. Yeah, we've got it here. I just can't see it properly. I'll probably have to migrate the camera, but that's not a problem. But yeah, there'll be a part number there. Alright. Anyway, the point is, I can't fix this tonight. It's not going to work to JB Weld it. You know, I mean, I'm a fan of using JB Weld, but in this instance, it will be a short-term repair if I do that. And I do not want to do a short-term repair on this particular machine. I want to make sure it's a proper repair. I don't want it coming back. I've got till the new year, I think, to get a replace. Okay. Alright, that's fine. We'll just go to the next job. What do we got? 1466. Oh wow, nice. Can't complain about that. The thing is, I've frustratingly run out of containers again, it seems. Oh, it's a bit silly, Paul. Okay, somebody's got job information on the top of the screen there, so... you can't see. La 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 la. Okay. Yeah, you can put up my face in the meantime while I sort this out. Throw those parts away. Okay, overhead. Keith, with the... No, that Dell should be okay to replace the stuff on. Looks like it's only $100 or $2. The screen's the biggest killer, being a $180 screen. That's my cost, plus delivery. At least delivery is pretty quick for those. But it's going to be all for naught unless I can get a replacement actual display assembly. What I might do is after this I'll just dig through eBay, see if anyone's got a, just one of the screen assemblies on its own for sale. And if they do, they'll probably be the easier option. The downside, of course, is that it's not going to be a brand new screen, so we'll have to see about that. Have you fixed? No, Andre, I haven't fixed that. Nope. The part's still still sitting on my workshop. Holy what the? God damn it! Honestly. Alright, the fault with this is that apparently the backlight comes up momentarily, then shuts off. If you leave everything else disconnected, why leave the battery connected? Okay, so it's got water damage everywhere, it's got flux everywhere. This is going to make me cry. Fantastic. Yeah, sorry Jim, it's sometimes it gets a bit tricky to get stuff done. There are other more important things happening that I have to deal with. Check out that. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. It's like it took a great big Slurpee at the vomit factory. Hey Upperman, how's things over in Stockland? You guys going insane with the Christmas? Or you're all quiet? I mean, sending people your way still. I laugh as I send them to you. It's like, I don't want to deal with this Samsung stuff. Take it to the person in Stockland. They're gonna love you. Alright. Okay. Oh, this is just so badly liquid damaged. Alright, let's see what happens. Well, the sodden thing don't even start. Am I missing something here? 5 milliamps? No, that's... Alright. Not a good start. The crossover flex is damaged. Yeah, this is going to be fun. It's nice when things get sent as backlight issues. And there's... what you find is instead it's went through a swim through the sewers issue. Got a crook 3590. What's a 3590? Hey, Ed Boss. Sometimes you really do want to throw these things into the ultrasonic cleaner before you even get started. But you've got to resist that temptation. At least the screen connector's okay. Yeah, you have to resist that temptation in case you lose your precious little hint. It's just that it's a bit hard to find the hints on something like this. Okay, looks like the T8 has at least been removed before, so that's good. Thank you very much. Which means I didn't try to chew through the cable. Okay. Ready to come out and reveal your glory. Rarely, the back side actually looks better than the front side. That's not a common occurrence. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is see if we can get it to power up. Because remember, it didn't even take any power when we tried just before. We've got a known working DC in board. That is not sitting down properly, it feels. Let's see if we get any luck now. Hey, Ricardo from Brazil. It's probably going to boot just fine. Current's about right, so I'm expecting a green blinks any second. They've taken the J tag off. Okay, the board's fine in terms of its booting, but we're going to go over it under the microscope because it looks like it's taken a fair bit of a hiding. We may as well find out what else is wrong. But it's pretty disgusting. Alright. It's definitely going to enjoy having a bath, that's for sure. Yeah, it feels like that has been reworked. Okay, we've had heat up here. We can see the bubbling up of the plastic. And not sure why the SSD resistor there has been meddled with, but I'm sure there's a reason. Okay, these caps don't have cracks in them, it's just junk and hair. We're literally missing a good pad there. That's on the what was the J tag. I'm not sure even Lewis would have approved of this. No, I don't know. Okay, the pad's still there, it's just coated in junk. And I can tell that this is probably a wand fan gun, hot air gun, by the fact that that has been charred. Just trying to get that off. It's sort of characteristic of it. Okay, we've got junk on 342. this really did have a vomit fest come through it, and that's no good. That's all chewed up there. Oh, that's no good. There's a look at the backlight. Backlight seems okay. I'm going to guess that the intermittent backlight issue... Okay, what have they done here? They've replaced that, I'm guessing. I'm going to guess the intermittent backlight is actually probably the DCN board. And I would say that the SMC lid detection circuit or the SMC lid line has been meddled with. Like as in vomit has landed on it. Because that driver looks okay. The cap has been replaced by the looks of it. Notice how the solder is not flowed up on the side properly. Yeah, everything else looks okay-ish. I'm just going to test the diode mode of the backlight feedback circuit. Yeah, 5.9, that's pretty tolerable, but I also need to check it up here, I think here. 5.9. 5.9, that's good. And we should just be able to touch its ball here. Yeah, not quite. Seems like it's a little intermittent. I don't know whether it's my probe tip or something else. Okay, that's good. Yep, no problem. Hey, Vladimir. Good evening to you. So yeah, I don't think there's actually anything really wrong with the backlight circuit at this point anyway. There may be issues with the display cable, but I don't think the backlight generation circuit is problematic. Oh, that's some nasty corrosion there. Yeah, that can cause a bit of problem. To be honest, I can't remember what that's for. I think for some reason my brain says to me that's CPU of some sort, but I know the chip below it is, but load up a 165. Chipset current, okay. The CPU VR current. So yeah, that definitely needs to be fixed up. Yeah, 2342. What is this? A 1.8 EL HED? What the? Don't know what the EL bit means. Okay, we've got also this power grid area has had a lot of work. Sheesh. You see why I would want to put this into the ultrasonic cleaner? Yeah, it's just so tempting. You turn your head around and wham, there's something new. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I don't know what happened to this. Okay, so that's fine. That was just a bit of junk. And of course, all of this junk will be fractionally conductive. Okay, this here concerns me. It looks like it's been reworked. That's fine, but the trouble is it's got the look of there being more blood in the board. Oh shite, there goes my machine oil. And what I mean by more blood in the board is that when you get corrosion, often as you're reworking it with the hot air, you'll get this sort of like dark rusty blood look coming out. And this just looks like it's still got more in there. I could be wrong, but I want to be sure. Is this Wayne Tripolar Tech? I think that was the site I was looking at, wasn't it? Oh yeah, Polar Tech. Alright, I'll try and remember that. This might actually just be junk. It's okay. Looks like it was more just drink junk. Or whatever it is that spilled all over this. Alright, that's fine. We'll get this fixed up, because that is important. This is that current monitor. Carter, no, that's most likely a no stuff that you're looking at. There's quite a number of no stuff parts on these boards. So it's not unusual. Oh, I hate it when I do that. What better way to make it easy to put a chip down than to stick a great big blob of solder in the middle of it? Yeah, I could just squeeze it out, but I prefer to at least try to clean up part of it. No stuff and critical. The definition of critical is a little quirky. It's probably critical to some accountant more than not. Just realise I have to finish washing this area. And then I can put flux on it and try again. I need to wash it because I didn't want to have whatever this liquid is, I didn't want it just re-embedding itself onto the board. Oh, that's a why do I... This is not a donor board. This is a zombie board. This board needs to go to Hades. Oh, it's interesting. That chip is actually unique, it seems, to the 165 board. The 3437 does not have that chip on it. Well, what is the deal? Okay, it's not great, but it's better than the other one, that's for sure. See you, Warren. Take care. Alright, and of course naturally I've forgotten that I took all the flux off, so now I've got to put flux back on. Flux off, flux on. It's always nice when it captures it aggressively like that. That was actually quite aggressive. It even spat a complete solder blob out the front. And Makakurum. Okay, I'm going to replace this as well. There is corrosion there and it is going up onto the side of the chip, so it means it could have wicked its way through. It could be one of those faults where you don't initially have a problem with it, but 6 months later it dies because it's finally worked its way into the inside. And then we find out it's probably an NC pad. How can you be sure you don't get solder bridge on the chip when you press down on it? When you reflow it again, when you let go of it and you still keep heating it, it will cause any of those potential little bridges to retract. Because solder does not like to exist on its own, like anywhere on the board itself, unless it's on the metal copper areas. When it's sitting just on the board surface, it will immediately retract and ball up. So when you apply heat after you push down the part, then you're pretty much a guarantee that it will retract back. Okay, so we're going to do that here as soon as I can actually. Alright. There's a little blob up the top, that's no problem. We'll get rid of that in a second. Okay. And its friends. All good. Okay, that cap looks problematic. We are now heading back to winter. Yeah, thank Flip for that. Unfortunately, because of the lagging effect, naturally we're going to get hotter before we get cooler yet. Ach, niemand. Yeah, that's fine. That was just a bit of oxidation. It's all good now. Hey, Riston. Now I'm going to give this area a nice wash down. Ah, come on. Damn it. The liquid level in my bottle has dropped too low, so when I tilt it over, it starts trying to draw from the air void. I'm probably going to have to preheat this board before I put it into the ultrasonic cleaner. If I don't do that, what's going to happen is a lot of this flux is going to persist. Because the ultrasonic cleaners do a good job, but old flux like what we're looking at here it needs to really be removed manually. It's kind of like when you use a dishwasher. You have to remove the worst of the junk off the dishes before you put it in the dishwasher, which always does tend to lead me to being cynical of the idea that a dishwasher will save water, because you pretty much lose all your savings in just cleaning up all the crap off your dishes in the first place. Still, maybe if you had a Teflon spudger scraper and you do it quickly, maybe you can get everything off. Hey, Toast Tech. Yeah, I know it's out of focus. There we go. Alright, I think we've covered the real risks that were on that board. I think. I forgot about the top side. I forgot the top side was dirtier. Yeah, it's tough stuff. Let's run all this up here. It's really baked on there. Fortunately, the stuff that was on this didn't look like it was corroding. It was just junk sitting on the chip, as opposed to chip had been exposed to liquid and was starting to corrode. It is an important difference. Okay. Alright, so that's the main board. I'm pretty sure we're okay with that. Is that just some blue fluff on the... Yeah, it's just blue fluff junk. It wasn't any corrosion. I did see what you were talking about. Let's see... I am going to say that this... you know, the trackpad's probably train wrecked as well. I'm surprised the keyboard works on this. Yeah, you're going for a dance in the Ultrasonic Cleaner for sure. Alright, so one wire circuit is messed up a bit there, but it's more goop than corrosion. There is... Okay, so here's a good example of the difference between just gooped and corroded. So here we have gooped. It's got junk on it, but it hasn't really done anything to affect the electrical properties of the connections. there we've got corrosion, where you can see funny stuff is starting to happen. Electrolysis has begun eating away at things, and sure enough that pin is loose because the electrolysis ate away the solder. Whereas this, it's just ugly, but nothing electrically happening. Unlike my main switch box on the house, which tried to burn the place down last night. That was fun. And of course corrosion there. Goop there. Bit of green goop in the middle of that. Corrosion, and it's partial corrosion there and mostly goop. Corrosion, yeah. And of course you need to check under this rubber boot. And in this case it's all clear. Lucky us. Hey Shad, thank you very much for the $5 for the Christmas Fun Coffee. I will certainly be consuming that. Alright, so in the old days people would just toss these things out, but they're too expensive to toss out now. You've got to fix these suckers up. Can't throw them away. They're too valuable. Like 90 to 100 bucks. And most of the time when you do get them, they're actually just, well, they are just pulls from another machine, and so many times they have their own dramas about them, so you still have to fix it up. So you may as well just fix up the one that you got, if you can, if it's within reasonable chance of being fixed. Yeah, that's right, Jim. Very glad the Energy Authority came and fixed it up. Okay, with the house, what happened is, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm just going about my business, and all of a sudden the power drops out on the house. And I thought, yeah, you know, whatever. Summer afternoon, it's, you know, probably some lightning took out something somewhere. And about half an hour later or so, maybe an hour, I can't remember exactly, it comes back on, and I'm like, yeah, you know, back to normal, didn't have to do anything, everybody's good. And then about 5 minutes later it drops out again, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe they just, you know, sometimes that can happen, they reconnect the circuit and there's still issues and they got to disconnect yet again. And so I go, alright, well look, I'm going to go check the community group and see if anyone else is wailing about the power outage, because the first thing, whenever power goes out in this town, the first thing everybody does is goes to the community group and says, does anyone else suffer like power loss in their area? And yeah, it's kind of like just a way to know that you're not alone. And I went out there and nobody reported back saying that they had lost power. I thought, that's kind of weird. So I rang up the energy supplier, Ergon in my case, and inquired about a power outage, and they said there is a power outage in your area at such and such a location based on your phone number. And I thought, alright, fine. But then it just kept going on too much, and I thought, nah, this doesn't seem right. I think that's a red herring, that other outage. And so I go out to the mains box, and as soon as I open up the mains box, I can smell that arcing smell, the smell that you get when electricity, you know, is burning across points trying to close and things like that. And I thought, that's sus. And then to make it worse, I would periodically hear this zzz, 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 and it was only like once a minute or something like that. I thought, that's it, I can't take this anymore. So I tried calling up the electricity place again. Of course it's after 5 o'clock now, and I'm only getting a robot answering me. I thought, typical. But fortunately, someone I did a job for several months ago, fixing up their air conditioner controller boards, they managed to get in touch with Ergon and lodge a issue for me. And then about 5 minutes later, I had 2 trucks around here, and they were digging around, disconnecting the line up the pole, and pulling out everything in the mains box. And after about an hour or so, they found the fault, and it was what I thought it was going to be, because none of my breakers were, none of the breakers were going off. So I thought, well, it's basically going to be before the breakers, main switch perhaps, and it was pretty old. It almost looks like Backlight. It's not, but it makes you think of that. And I got it here. So trying to find the wire. So this here is the wire that supplies me each day with about 60 to 70 kilowatt hours of power. And so that was starting to get a little unhappy. And it's way out of focus. So that's the main input line pair. And this here is the switch assembly itself, and I'm gonna have to raise it up, and you can see where it's starting to splutter. Now, what actually happens here is when they get like this, and the reason why it kept cutting in and out, is that the contacts, they start to bend back like metallic strips, bimetallic strip. So that's why it would come on for a while, but then because it was a hot day and I was drawing a fair bit on the air conditioners, it was causing the switch metal itself to retreat back, which subsequently then disconnected again. And so every time I could hear it going bzz, bzz and stuff like that, it was probably that metal band there trying to reconnect, but then immediately the heat forces it to shrink back. Anyway, and so if I let it wait for 20 minutes, it would cool down enough, and then I could flick it and it would work. But as soon as I brought everything else in the house up, like all the air conditioners and things like that, it would kick back again. Anyway, so at the end of it, they came along, they switched this out for me. Technically speaking, they're not supposed to, because it's not really their domain. It's not strictly their domain. Essentially, once the line gets to the house or to the back of the box, it's no longer, it's up to the electrician then. But not middle of the night, nighttime, that sort of thing, they know this happened. Oh look, there's actually a crack there. I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, that's some nasty stuff. So they carry these around and they swap them over, and you just pay to get them replaced. You pay them a replacement fee, and that's it. Just notice that crack in there and all the spluttering here. That's scary stuff. Anyway, so if that had kept going for too long, it may have potentially smoldered into a small fire. I don't know exactly. Half the problem is I don't know what the standard of cabling and fire resistance is of what is in this house at this point. We don't have aluminium here. We don't normally use aluminium. This doesn't feel like aluminium, I don't think. I could be wrong. It's pretty heavy. Anyway, it's all fixed now, thankfully, and the whole switch box will get replaced when I get solar installed, so it'll all just get thrown in the bin. Right now, I do not have a modern style switch box. I've got just they have a fireproof wood panel sort of thing. You put all your assemblies on the front, and then you just drill holes where you want the cables, and it's a great big rat's nest behind it. It's not a circuit breaker. This is a hey Luke Davis. That is the main switch from the pole to the panel. Okay, I just noticed that there we've got a problem. We've got a veer missing. A trace missing to the veer, I should say. So we're going to have to rebuild that. See that? Yeah, it's just a switch, not a breaker. Wait, what? Where's the veer? Unless the veer goes underneath the part itself. Okay, I'm gonna have to guess then that the veer is underneath the pad. Not my favourite style of doing things, but it looks like they've done it that way. This one here doesn't matter, this is just a test pad coming out. So even though the veer stalk is there, we don't need to do anything with it because it's, like I said, it's just a test pad. It's just, in fact, it's probably just this floodplain. The way I can test to see if this is connected to anything is just do a diode mode test, and if it's anything but, if it shows any sort of conductivity, then it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. We do have RCD switches in the panel, but that's all after that main switch. That main switch is just that single purpose switch, bring the power in from the power line and then feed it to the panel. It's your master breaker, well, not, I shouldn't say breaker, it's your master to disconnect power if things are going wrong. I must say though, it's a bit of a tricky switch to disconnect. You wouldn't want things to be going on in that switch panel and trying to fix it in a hurry. Trying to get to it, fire and stuff's coming out. So yeah, I'll get a replacement when I get the solar installation. Okay, these things are annoying to hold. We have chunky 100 amp input fuses. Not exactly sure what I've got, but it would be something fairly hefty given the number of circuits, and like I said, I'm chewing 60-70 kilowatt hour a day, so yeah, it needs a fair bit. When we first moved here 18 odd years ago, I think they only had a 30 amp breaker on it for the main, and we kept popping that every day. And then we got upgraded to a 40, and that wasn't enough, so I think we've got a 60 on there at the moment. I haven't looked properly. Okay, we're just trying to fix up that corrosion damage that we were talking about before, that was on here. I think I might give it some assistive heat on this one. Hey Vladimir, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not... when it comes to do the change, we will have to get the energy company in. They will have to do the disconnect, at least initially. And then the Sparky will do the panel install and setup. And then the energy company will come in and reconnect. Because yeah, the last thing you want is a unfused or unprotected high capacity pair of wires just dangling around inside your house. I really don't want to have to replace this connector. I will do it, but I prefer not to. It's not the worst connector in the world to change. But like I said, it's a pain to have to change things that you can try and avoid. Now I don't want to put too much solder down onto the tip of the iron because you've got that very tasty, from a solder's perspective, nice goldy, bronzy stuff on the side. So as soon as you put solder onto the side of these things, they just gobble it up. And so you end up with all these discoloration bits of solder on the side of the connectors. I mean, you can wick it off, but it stays there. Like, you'll never get back down to the gold colour. Yeah, some more flux is needed there. I just realised that was not even running. Yeah, Felix, because you guys are running on 110, you'll need larger current switches. Because we're running at 230, we can get away with half. It's certainly advantageous having the higher voltage, but it has the downside of being a little more lethal in some cases. And worse, for Australians, we can't even touch the damn stuff. Not allowed to. Unless you've got your electrician's certificate, you can't touch it. You're not even allowed to change a light fixture or a GPO or anything. So no siree, will smack your hand if you do that. I mean, big trouble. 240 into the house, right, but that's a, don't you guys have like a two-phase system? Two 110 phases, and you just bond them, bridge them together? I'm messing around with this pin a lot because it's really not, even though you see it occasionally take solder, it's kind of fake. Yeah, that feels better now. Yeah, two 110s, right, that's what I was thinking it was, yeah. So it's not really 230 relative to neutral. You're kind of doing your own fake kind of thing there. But yeah, I mean, in the end you get the same result, so that's good. It is interesting to see more and more people previously on 110 migrating over to 220 or whatever you want to call it. It's advantageous because it means that everybody around the world can start working off the same, relatively the same levels. Mind you, with the advances we have in switch mode technologies, we've kind of also concurrently rendered that issue moot, simply by the fact that we can go, well, we can do anything from 85 to 260 just fine. So thanks for bringing in more voltage, but we could have done without. But I suppose the upside is that you can, overall, you can have more power if you want for the same circuitry. Alright, well this is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner, so yeah, the ugliness at least can take a hike. There's a little bit of corrosion around still. Scrub it down. I'm just warming the flux up to activate it, but I'm not really reflowing anything. I mean, 110 wasn't a problem in the past when we weren't guzzling so much power, but for as much as we have improved in efficiency on many devices, instead of using less power, it just means we've got so many more things that want power, so yeah, we're getting more out of a given amount of power, but we're using more power overall. In the old days, it used to be you had 3 or 4 light bulbs in the house, and that was about it. Maybe a GPO or 2. Now, it's like 5 or 6 light bulbs per room, 2 or 3 computers per room, fridge, freezer, washing machine, dishwasher, everything and anything, multiple TVs, air conditioners. Air conditioners are the big thing, of course. Okay, alright, so that MagSafe is probably okay now. Let's have a look at the connector. Yeah. Okay, that there is just junk. So just scrub and wash that off. But that there is corrosion-ish. I may be able to revitalize that. If the person, because it's a business-to-business job, this one, if the person wants to, I'll let them know, and they can replace it out of their own pocket. Because they'll have a bunch of these, no doubt, floating around in their workshop. Yeah, I feel like I gotta lift that connector. Why? That's okay. These connectors are kind of fun. I'm impressed. It's actually taken a little longer than usual, but that's not a problem. Damn you. Okay, we've just got to tin it up. Then we can put that connector back on. Oh wait, no we can't. We have to fix the pin on the connector. Kind of wondering if there is an iPhone that wondering if there's an iPhone that has the same connector as this, but I don't think so. This is a pretty chunky connector. Bit too chunky for an iPhone. Yeah, it looks viable again. It doesn't look so pretty from the top, but the bottom is good. So here we go. Trying real hard not to blow this off the connect. Yeah, now it's starting to reflow, thank God. And now it means I can botch it up. Ah, the agony of the pain of the... not botching it up, but the hot air on my fingertips. If you're thinking this is a bit pointless, you would be correct. So rest assured, making such comments would be entirely expected. crud. The reason why I do that is it just gives the pads a chance to actually get some really good consistent solder under it. When you do the reflow, because it is such a broad connector, and sometimes the flex itself has, oddly enough, flex in it, you don't always get that good filleting. So by just doing this, you get yourself a nice solid fillet going. So yeah, that shouldn't fail anytime soon. Being pedantic, yes, I guess I am. Now I gotta clean the damn thing. And these things, at least here in Australia, they're about $25 to $29 a piece. So again, for simple little faults like that, worth fixing up. Because it never used to be, but it's just the way the market's gone. And we still haven't gotten to the point where we can confirm or whatever if we've even fixed up the backlight issue. We don't even know what that was yet. We just need to initially get to the point where we can say, okay, it's booting and it's drawing the right amount of power. Because remember, when we used this MagSafe board before, it didn't boot. It just said, don't know what you're talking about, mate. I haven't heard of anyone around here called MacBook wanting some power. And we may still have that scenario, so we're about to find out. Well, jolly gosh darn crap. Oh wait, what, green light? That's kind of weird. Alright. Let's see if it's that flex or not. No, it's still the DCM board. Crap. Just going to test the fixed flex with my known good working DCM board. Still nothing. Alright, looks like we've probably buggered up the main board. Did we? Or is there something I missed that's obvious? Okay, known working board. Alright, something's buggered up. Alright, let's see if we've got 342. Okay. 8.6, SMC's alive, and just not coming up for some reason. To be honest, I would say it's probably because of all the crap on the board. Did I botch up something up here? Okay, so pin 1's good. That pin 1's good. You gotta love it when you clean up something only to make things not work anymore. It looks like corrosion there, but that's actually just liquid residue sort of stuff. Right, so we've gone backwards. What joy. Ah, damn it. And the ultrasonic is only at 20 centigrade, so no good. Given that it was working before and now it's not working after I've done rework on it, I am going to guess that it's some sort of trash on the board that's going to get fixed up when we ultrasonic it. It just feels like that kind of fault. And like I said, unfortunately, the ultrasonic cleaner is not active at the moment. Yeah. So I think that's what I need to do. I need to ultrasonic it, then give it another test. Because remember, we cleaned up all around here. Which is a bit of a bummer. Because it means basically I'm going to finish the night with an unknown. Sorry. Let's see. And it's 12:30 at night, so yeah, I need to finish up. So 2 incomplete jobs for the night. That's not good. So it's quite possible that is actually now fixed. What we'll do is we'll get another board and see if it boots. Okay, this is a good board. It's a 3437. Okay, so we have fixed up the DCM board. Whatever the problem is, it's on this board. 34's that come back up. Yeah, that's proper. With the 3437, if it doesn't do this cycling stuff, then you know actually you've got a faulty board. Okay, so that's all good. Yeah. Okay, so the DCN and the cross flex is good, but that has to go through the ultrasonic. And I'll actually put that all in there as well. And unfortunately, yeah, that's all for tonight. So sorry about that. That's the way it goes. And might see you tomorrow. But until then, you'll take care, and I'll catch you later.